Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another live stream here in Delta T Racing. Tonight we're gonna have a beautiful track on the calendar, being Japan Suzuka itself, one of the better racing tracks out on the calendar in F125. And obviously the guys here in DTR are going to be racing that calendar as well. Both Red Bull guys already coming out of the pit lane together with that Mercedes. No, it is an Aston Martin. And we're gonna have 13 people in the lobby today. NLD Rush at the bottom of the table there, as you can see on the left side of your screen. Another Williams guy coming out. That is most likely going to be Baza, because he's the only Williams driver out on track here tonight. The other Aston Martin and the V-Carb is coming out as well. So plenty of guys here out on track already. In the first couple of minutes of this qualifying session, it's going to be a short qualifying, so that means we're only going to be racing about 18 minutes in total. But that should be good enough to put themselves in a decent position out on track as well. The guys on the top of the championship are obviously J5 Gaming and then Connor Havoc. Both drivers currently leading the championship for both the Drivers' Championship and also the Constructors' Championship. And then if I'm not mistaken, Hummer should be able to compete with the both of them as well at the front of the pack. Tom Putty did have a great race in Singapore himself, although he had to come into the pits where he lost a little bit of time. A couple of other drivers did do well there as well. If I'm not mistaken, it was either Pombeer or NLD Rush who had a very good race coming from all the way at the back of the pack. But I'll have to double check on who really had a great strategy there in Singapore. Last week we had another race where I unfortunately wasn't able to do commentary for. But I'll quickly look at the results from last week so you guys are up to date with the standings as well. So here we've got the F1 results, and last week we had that's Japan. We had Australia, and it was a sprint race apparently. So Connor Havoc apparently got the pole time in the sprint quali. During the sprint race, it was Hummer who took the win. Ralph took B2, and then we had Connor Havoc in B3. J5 Gaming had the DNF in the sprint race, so that is not good for the championship lead of the AlphaTauri. During the quali, it was Hummer who took pole time with 117.4. Only about 110 behind was J5 Gaming and Connor Havoc in B3. And the race was won by J5 Gaming. Raf was in B2, and then we've got Hummer in B3. It seems like Connor Havoc didn't really have a great race with about 23 seconds off the race leader, and then obviously finishing in P8. So not great there for the V-Car, but if I'm not mistaken, he tried to score a double points because he's got 10 in total instead of 4 or 5 or whatever. So let me just double check here with the F1 standings after last week's results. J5 Gaming still in the lead in the Drivers' Championship with 163 points. Hummer apparently has taken B2, the Dutch driver in that Red Bull seat, beating Connor Havoc after last week's race. Raf currently on pole position with a 129, but still plenty of time in this qualifying session to put a better time on the board. As I said, Connor Havoc in P3, we've got Brother Adam in P4 and Tom Putty in P5. Constructor-wise, we are still looking at Racing Bulls in B1 with more than 100 points ahead of Red Bull in B2. And then we've got McLaren in B3. All the way at the bottom, Ferrari today represented by Yesa. So hopefully they're going to be scoring a decent amount of points because they've only got 6 points in the Constructors so far. So Ferrari really needs to step up their game. Mercedes has got 24, Williams 39, so all of these guys not necessarily scoring any big points, but if they can if they can try and stay consistent for the remainder of the season, they might be able to jump a couple of positions here tonight. Pombeer currently in P3 as we're looking at the Aston Martin. Let me just double check here with Brother Adam. He's usually one of the faster guys as he's coming around that last corner here in Suzuka. It's going to be a 129.5, putting himself in P5 so far. Let's go on board with Skipper here in P11 as well. The Dutch driver. There's plenty of Dutch drivers on the grid here tonight. We've got NLD Rush. We have Skipper. Let me just double check. Ralph as well, if I'm not mistaken. Hummer as well. Pombeer as well. So plenty of guys are actual Dutch drivers. And there seems to be, in all the different leagues that I'm in, there seems to be a big amount of Dutch drivers in the F1 scene. So obviously that's possibly due to Max Verstappen, although he is half Belgium. The Dutch do appreciate a Dutch driver winning a couple of championships for them, of course. And that's what we see in many of the sports. You know, whenever your sport is, well, whenever your country is doing well in a certain sport, there's going to be more interest in that sport. Skipper putting himself in P8 with a 131.4. Still needs to improve a little bit more because a 131 is not going to be very competitive to the rest of the field. He's one of the only guys in that 131. Yes, he's the only one who's a little bit slower at 132.1, but 7/10 away from Skipper there. And looking at the name from Jesse, he's also a Dutch driver. So plenty of Dutch drivers here tonight, as I said before. Baza coming around the last corner, a 151. Pretty sure he's going to go for another one. And yes, indeed, because he's saved a lot of ERS heading into turn 1. Let's go on board with Baza here to do a little track analysis. Watch out for the curb on the exit there. You do want to take a little bit of curb when exiting a sector turn 2. And then especially here throughout the S's, it's going to be a little bit difficult for the guys to keep their car on track, especially with the amount of, dirty air that you're going to be experiencing here in Sector 1 as well. Heading into Sector 2, watch out for this corner section, because if you got caught on the curb, you're easily going to go into the dirt here, heading into turn 8 or 9, if I'm not mistaken. This will be turn 10. The long left-hander Spoon, if I'm not mistaken, is what it's called. Or is it the other one? I think it's the other one. This one is Spoon. This is turn 12. And then we've got turn 13 and 14 coming right up. And those two fast left-handers. Watch out for the curb on the exit. You want to clip it a little bit, but not too much. Although it seems like Baza isn't clipping any curbs here in this qualifying lap. You might want to try to clip those curbs a little bit more, because it feels like he's losing a lot of time at the moment. Currently on its way for 131, although I'm pretty sure he'll be able to put a 130, well, maybe a 130 on the board. Depends on how his sector 3 went. You can see there it was a little chicane, and the guys do need to improve a little bit on their times in that chicane if they want to get a good time on the board. A 129.8 so far for Baza, as Connor Havoc, currently out on track, has invalidated this time, so that's not going to be an improvement for the V-Carb driver. Tom Putty and Hummer both in the pit lane, although I need to have a quick look which drivers are using their jokers tonight, and it would be very, very interesting to see who's actually going to use their jokers, because there's not that many people on the grid tonight. 13, so you only need to gain about 2 to 3 positions to be able to actually get double points. So let me just double check here with the guys who have used their jokers. Apparently Hummer is the only one who's going to use their joker tonight. So Tom Putty and Connor Havoc still have to put a better time on the board. If I'm not mistaken, Connor came into the pits again. So they're only going to have about 1 or 2 chances to actually put a better time on the board. Tom Putty got put, lagged out of the pit lane, the lobby there. So he needed an invite back, but he's joined again, so he'll be able to put a better time on the board there. NLD Rush out on track as well, warming up the tires. You can see him weave from left to right, and that's usually to put a little bit of heat in those tires. You don't want to go onto a qualifying lap with very cold tires. It's going to slow you down quite a lot. As NLD Rush now coming around the last corner into turn 1. A very, very difficult... yeah, okay. So it's going to be his second attempt here in Suzuka. Turn 1 and 2, a very difficult corner section, because there's not a real line you can follow. There's a lot of different possibilities you have throughout turn 1 and turn 2. You can go a little bit wider in turn 1 to get a better exit out of turn 2, but you can also take a very tight line to try and defend that inside line during the race. Not very suitable during a qualifying session, but some guys tend to use it to get better traction coming through. Well, not necessarily better traction, but just gain a little bit of time through turn 1 and turn 2. Into turn 10, and then we've got turn 11 for NLD Rush. Seems to be a very good lap already so far. It seems like he's done a little bit of practice here in Suzuka. You could already see that he had the fastest first sector there, heading into sector 2. And this is going to be sector 3, obviously. I kind of misspoke myself. No. Oh, and he invalidates. That is not great for NLD Rush. That will be possibly pole time given away because there's only 2 tenths between himself and J5 Gaming. So the Aston Martin is actually not doing a bad job here around Suzuka, both Pombeer and NLD Rush, within a couple of hundreds from J5 Gaming. So this is really looking good for the Aston Martin team. They've definitely put a little bit of practice out on track. Tom Putty currently on an outlap. Hummer is still going to be in the pit lane. Connor Havoc in P13. He's on a fast one. No, he's on an outlap. My apologies. As I'm going to try and see if I can hear myself here. That's way better. I'm able to hear myself now. So Connor Havoc currently coming into turn, that might be turn 16, 17. As this seems to be a very good lap from Connor Havoc. And still has to start his one. I was a little bit confused by the direct monitoring I was trying to do with the microphone, as he's going a little bit deeper into turn 2 and turn 1. This is going to be not necessarily an invalidation, but definitely not an improvement on anyone else's time. Lost about 1 or 2 seconds there, as Connor doesn't seem to be very comfortable here around Suzuka, as we might want to go on board with Tom Putty again, as he's coming into the chicane right now. This is going to be the start of his possibly last qualifying lap, and this is his only chance to actually put a good time on the board here for the Alpine team. Coming down the straight now goes Tom Putty. DRS wide open, ERS wide open, most likely, because the guys are able to choose where they're going to be deploying their ERS. As this is an example of someone who takes a very tight line coming into turn 1, turn 2. I'm not going to say you're going to gain a lot of time with that, but the game does suggest going into turn 1 and 2 a little bit tighter, as it seems like Tom Putty is experiencing some understeer there coming into the S's. This is not looking great for Tom Putty. Definitely not a top 5 position, if I'm not mistaken. NLD Rush managed to improve with about 6 thousandths of a second away from J5 Gaming. Somebody crashed there. The McLaren, that's going to be brother Adam, who still put a better time on the board. And it's looking very close. Look at that. All the way from P1 to P5. Only about 800ths between those guys. So this is looking like a very, very, very close qualifying between all of the guys in the top 5. And then we've got about a 7-10 gap from P5 to P6. So let's see whether Tom Putty can put himself anywhere near those guys. Highly doubted with the way that his qualifying is going at the moment. Lagged out of the session, doesn't have a great qualifying right now. And then we've got Pombeer, who even improves on his very own time, takes pole time with 129.1. So this is looking like a great qualifying as well for the Aston Martin. And let's see what Tom Putty is going to do. Coming back into the pits, he might have been able to put maybe a 30, maybe a 31, something around there. Connor Havoc once again coming back into the pits, putting their last set of soft tires on their cars. And there's not many opportunities left on track to be able to put a good time on the board. So it's either going to be starting all the way from the bottom for Connor Havoc, or he just needs to keep it within the track limits. And, you know, you might want to put a safe time on the board, but I can't guarantee it's going to give you a top 5 position, because obviously look at how close the top 5 is at the moment. You've got about 6 thousandths of a second between P1 and P2. You've got 6 thousandths of a second between P2 and P3. You've got about 11 thousandths of a second between P3 and P4. And then, of course, brother Adam, well, of course, not necessarily, of course, but brother Adam a little bit further back with about 500ths of a second, but it's still looking very close for the guys here in the top 5. And if this is going to reflect into the race, it's going to be a very exciting race with 5 guys battling for the race win tonight. Hummer and Tom Putty still in the pit lane. There's not too much time left on track. Pretty sure Pombeer is going to come back into the pits, and yes, indeed he is. J5 Gaming improving on his time, so this is looking great for the British driver, as he's now coming through turn 11 and turn 12. And then we've got turn 13 and 14. Very difficult corner section. You don't want to get caught onto the curb. You do want to get caught on the inside of that curb, but definitely not on the exit. It's not going to gain you any time. It's even going to slow you down because you're stuck onto the curb with your underbody. And here he comes into turn 15. Fast left-hander, full throttle if you do run higher wings. And now we've got the chicane, of course. This is looking very smooth for J5 Gaming. What time will it be for the V-Carb driver coming down the straight right now? It's going to be pole time by quite a bit, actually, a 128.4. And he's leaving everyone else on the edge of their seats because obviously everyone wants to get pole time. Pombear is not going to be able to come out on track anymore. NLD Rush might be able to, just needs to do a little bit better right now. But I'm not sure if he still has any soft tires left in pit lane, as Ralph is trying to get around the track as soon as possible. There's a yellow flag, so I'm not able to see how many more minutes we have left in this qualifying session. Yes, we've got a Haas up ahead, and this is going to be very difficult for Ralph as well, because is he going to have to slow down a little bit to create some kind of gap to the guys ahead of him, or is he going to push and, you know, be caught in some kind of little obstacle there up the road? He doesn't have anyone behind him, so he's going to warm up the tires there, heat up the tires, and, you know, create some kind of gap to the guys ahead of him. And so you might want to go on board with Raikkonen here as well, coming through the chicane as we speak. 4 seconds slower. I highly doubt he's going to put a better time on the board. But I think he saved a lot of years, so he's going to go for another one. This was his second outlap, is what we call it. And the guys, well, in the actual F1, usually use it to heat up their tires whenever there's a track where the tires don't necessarily heat up that much. A good example, if I'm not mistaken, is definitely tracks where you're going to be racing in, well, possibly Las Vegas is a good one. Whenever it's a little bit colder around Las Vegas and the tire wear is not that high, especially with the low amount of corners we have in Las Vegas, the tire wear doesn't necessarily wear down as much. And because the tires are not that heated, you're going to have to do a second outlap to really heat them up. A little bit touchy with the grass there. Raikkonen possibly lost a bit of time due to that. As NLD Rush has come out again, he's going to try to go for another fast one. Pombear coming out as well. He's currently on an outlap with about 18 more seconds to go. And I highly doubt he'll make it around... Well, he's coming around the finish line right now. So this is going to be the last driver to put an actual time on the board. And let's see whether he can actually improve on that. 129.1 he is set. He needs to improve by about 7/10 right now. So this is going to be very, very tight for the Aston Martin. And I highly doubt he'll be able to do it. Raikkonen coming around the last corner right now. It's going to be Connor Havoc who managed to put himself right in between his teammate and Pombear. As Raikkonen only putting a 130.1. Tom Putty out on track as well. This is a do-or-die situation for the Alpine driver as well. And I would say he's capable of putting a 129 on the board. But then again, Ralph, who just came across the line, putting himself in between the V-Carb brothers with 128.9. There we've got brother Adam, and the track is slowly getting hotter and hotter as well. The tires will heat up a little bit better, and the guys will be able to be a little bit faster with those heated tires as well. And that's why you usually in F1 see the guys at the end of the qualifying putting better times, because the track gets heated up and the guys are a little bit faster, because the hotter your tires are, the faster they are as well. You have more grip on those tires, and that is very important. Tom Putty only putting a disappointing 129.8 on the board. Pombear has invalidated his time composite out on track, and not up in his time if I'm not mistaken. Nope, he is not. And I'm afraid this is going to be the end of the qualifying. Everyone has either come into the pits or come across the line. Baza coming back into the pits. And that will be the qualifying here in Delta T Racing around Suzuka. As I'm quickly going to have a listen with the live stream to see if the quality of the microphone and the stream is okay. I hope you guys don't mind. This is going to be a little bit of time where we're going to have that break. We're going to take a little bit of time to cool down and possibly take a drink. Whoever is listening, feel free to do so. I'll see you guys in a second. Here are the results of the qualifying, by the way, guys. J5 Gaming in pole position. Brother Adam not too far behind, only 2.5 tenths in P2. And then we've got Ralph in P3. Further, we've got Connor, Pombir, NLD Rush, Composite, Baza, Tom Petty, Raikkonen, Skipper, Jesse, and Hummer at the bottom of the field. I'll be right back in a second. I'm just trying to find the actual live stream here because it doesn't seem like I'm actually live for some reason. That might explain why there's nobody in the chat either. Wait, no, I am live. Oh, yeah. I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back. Alrighty, everyone is back out on track to be racing here around Suzuka, as we're quickly going to put the tires out to see which tires everyone is using here in Suzuka. It's going to be a tricky one. A lot of tire wear in Suzuka as well. So will it be a two-stopper for the guys here in Japan? Almost everyone starting on those medium tires. Only two drivers choosing to start on the hard tires, and not necessarily a bad choice at all. Tom Petty and Skipper, who both didn't have a great qualifying, but this might put them on the map if they can stretch those hard tires a little bit longer. The only issue that we're going to be having there for those drivers is that whenever there is an early safety car, you're not going to be able to switch onto the hard tires as soon as the other guys. Depends on whether you're going, well, not necessarily, because if you're going for a hard medium or hard medium hard strategy, you're never going to make it out alive with a medium and a hard if for example there is a safety car around lap 5. So that's something that the guys need to think about whenever they're choosing to go for the hard tires at the front, at the start of the race. Usually what I do is I go for the harder compound, and then I start on the medium tires. Whenever there is an early safety car, I go for mediums, and whenever there is one at like around lap 5 maybe, or a virtual safety car is even going to gain you more time as well. That's how I got P2 last Sunday in my race. I was coming from P9 if I'm not mistaken, and I made a jump into the pits during a virtual safety car around lap 5. It was Brazil. I came out on track in P2 or P1. Well, yeah, P1 actually. I was not necessarily. I was in not P2 because I was at the back of the field because I came into the pits as the only driver during a VSC. Yeah, I had a very clean race. Didn't really pass that many drivers, and everyone just came into the pits. They were 10 seconds behind because I came into the pits that early, and everyone was on worn out mediums. I was on, somebody going in the wall there. The Aston Martin. That might be NLD Rush who got disqualified. No, that will be Pombeer in that case. Because if you get disqualified, you're just going to be put onto your grid there. So let's see. Let's go on board with one of the guys here as well. Maybe Raf. As he's starting on the left side of the field. The second starting row in that Red Bull car. As Brother Adam and J5 Gaming are going to try and defend their position from the almighty Ralph. As it's 5 lights and away we go here. Ralph already alongside Brother Adam heading into turn 1 and turn 2. Are they going to make it out alive? Oh, and somebody is going a little bit deeper there. That's the Aston Martin of Pombeer. Drops back all the way to P11. Not a great start from the Aston Martin. We saw a little bit of wheel banging between Brother Adam and Ralph there as well. Heading into turn 2. Ralph who had to yield, trying to make an overtake there. And on the rush didn't gain a single position there either. Well, he did on his very own teammate. As Pombeer dropped back all the way to P13. Not a great strategy there from the... Well, strategy. Doesn't have to do much with strategy there, but just went a little bit too deep. Hummer, who's trying to make his way through the field. One of the guys who possibly has the biggest chance at getting good points during this race. Because he's going to be scoring double points as well here. It's Baza trying to find his way around the Dutch driver composite. As they both have to leave a little bit of a gap to NLD Rush. And this is where we see that pace from the qualifying come into place as well. There's about a 1.1 second gap already to NLD Rush. And that's not great. That's not great. You know, you're going to see some big gaps forming here. Connor Havoc trying to keep NLD Rush behind him. As J5 Gaming is running away from Brother Adam. So this is the part... Usually not necessarily the part already, but this is going to be the part where we're going to see a couple of guys run away with a little bit of a gap. You can see that happening here already. J5 Gaming and Brother Adam running away from Ralph and Connor. And you've got, Connor and NLD Rush running away from Composite. So we need to go on board with Tom Putty and Raikkonen as the both of them had a little bit of a scramble with each other. Kind of missed that battle there, unfortunately enough. Hummer trying to find his way around the Haas driver as well. As it will be a very exciting thing to see Hummer fight through the field. He's championship caliber. Caliber? I think the word is caliber. He's a championship caliber driver, but the problem is that he wasn't there every race. So he's going to lose a big amount of points there. And then to see his pace come into play whenever he uses a Joker, he's just going to find his way through the field. He's going to have to be patient. There's about 27 laps here around the Japan Grand Prix. Obviously, here in Delta T Racing, we're using 50%. So it's going to be 27. Usually, it will be around 54, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, obviously the 100% races take a little bit too long, especially when you have a couple of safety cars. Pombeer on the tail of Skipper. They both know each other very well, both Dutch drivers. Not saying every Dutch driver know each other, but you know what I mean. A good exit there from Pombeer as Jesse already getting a penalty. It's only lap 3 out of the 27, and Pombeer had a very good exit there. DRS wide open coming down the only start-finish straight. Well, there's only one start-finish straight here in Japan anyway. But the only straight with a DRS section in Japan, only one DRS opportunity as J5 Gaming ran away once again with a 1.8 second gap to Brother Adam already. And let's go on board with NLD Rush here as he's on the tail of Connor Havoc as Tom Putty still having a scramble with Raikkonen and Hummer. There's not much happening. Tom Putty going a little bit deep there. And this is what I said about clipping the curb on the exit. Raikkonen now able to take that position as Tom Putty obviously had to do something. Oh, down the inside, and he takes out the Haas. Will Hummer be able to benefit from that? They're going 3 wide. Raikkonen back into P8. Hummer made up a position to Tom Petty. There was not much room there heading into turn 10 for Tom Petty to put his car down the inside like that. But luckily they came out alive. Might have a broken front wing, although I'm not seeing any visual damage. Maybe the Haas driver does have a little bit of damage. Doesn't look like it either. As Ralph still trying to hang on tight with Brother Adam here. Brother Adam seems to be a little bit faster in Sector 2. We saw him gain about 1 or 2 tenths there. So it might be an opportunity to, you know, maybe let Ralph pass down the straight and then benefit from the DRS. Not sure, but they're going to have to try and work together to get back to J5 Gaming here. Pombeer and Tom Petty having to scramble with each other as well. This might indicate that Tom Petty does indeed have front wing damage. It might not be visual. Pombeer went a little bit too deep there coming out of turn 2 as well. It's looking for like a track where a lot of guys are going to be making mistakes, and that's the key to consistency as well, is keeping your car within track limits, especially on a track like Japan. I've mentioned it before. Going onto the curbs is going to shoot you through, and you're going to go into the gravel or whatever. You're going to be caught into the dirty air. It's something you cannot allow for yourself if you want to win this race. J5 Gaming will have to keep it consistent for 23 more laps, but so does everyone else. And whenever you're consistent around Japan, you're going to have big shots at least finishing in that top 3. I'm not saying that Brother Adam and Ralph are slow. I'm not going to say that at all. But there are drivers who have a little more pace, talking about Hummer, talking about Connor Havoc. And then to see these guys, these two on the podium tonight, this is just consistency on point. And that is what I admire more in drivers than actual pace. I'm a driver who has a little bit more consistency than pace myself. As NLD Rush now tries to find his way down the inside, and he manages to do so with that DRS. But I personally have a lot of consistency as well, and it's a little more beneficial to me than actually having pace, because you can still have a lot of pace. Then on the other hand, you're gonna lose a lot of time because you're pushing too much. You're gonna lose time because you're making mistakes and all sorts of stuff. So you really need to watch out there with pace compared to your consistency. If your consistency cannot keep up with your pace, you're gonna be in big trouble. If your pace cannot keep up with your consistency, you're still going to be getting decent results week in, week out. But the other way around is not doable. And I feel that is a little bit of the case with Connor Havoc here. He's got the pace of J5 Gaming. He's just not as consistent as his teammate. And it's showing. You know, it's showing. He's at P5. He's not somewhere where he's supposed to be. Especially with the pace he's half. He's half. That isn't even a word, dude. He has, but it's just a problem at the moment for the V-Carb driver. Here comes Ralph. Oh, trying to go down the inside in the chicane. Had to back out again. It was Brother Adam defending the inside line. Very last minute, though. I have to admit that. But now Ralph will be able to benefit from the DRS. Down the straight he goes. As Brother Adam defending the inside line goes back onto the racing line, as Ralph doesn't apparently have too much straight line speed composite with the DRS around the outside. Hummer will not be defending that at all, but Hummer already scoring a decent amount of points here tonight in Delta T Racing. He's scoring double points as he used his Joker for tonight. Anyone who isn't familiar with the Joker system here in Delta T Racing yet, I think the guys have a limited amount of jokers they can use throughout the season. With those jokers, you basically say you're not going to be qualifying, so you're going to be starting at the back of the field, but you will be scoring double points whenever you're in the points category. And Hummer is at the moment. In the actual F1, he would be scoring 4, but right now, if there is a double point system as well in the F1, he would be scoring 8. So he's doing a good job right now. Just needs to gain a little more time and positions. because obviously you want to score the maximum amount of points with double points, because that means you're not going to be scoring 25 but 50. It's already going to bump you up a lot of positions, I can tell you that. If Jesse, for example, scores 50 points, Ferrari is not going from last place to P9. He's going to go from P10 to not sure, P6 maybe with Ferrari. But I haven't seen his teammate race too often here in Delta T Racing yet, as Hummer apparently makes up a position to Composite. Tom Putty also makes up a position to Pombeer there in P10. As there is already a 3-second gap between Ralph and J5 Gaming. We just need to focus on Connor Havoc here as well. Struggling behind NLD Rush. There again, this is what I said about going onto the curb. You're just losing too much time. He's not going to be within the DRS either. 1.1 seconds so far. Here comes Hummer and Baza. Baza down the inside. Look at that move from the Williams. Is he going to make it stick? Apparently not. Has a little bit of wheel spin. And Hummer makes up the position. 2 at the same time. He was at 5 positions gained earlier. Currently at about 7. And the guys on the hard tires haven't gained that much time yet. Look at them all the way at the bottom of the field. P11 and P12 for Tom Putty and Skipper. Jesse, who's currently in P13. Not a great race he is having, but plenty of time to recover from a bad start, obviously. We're not in that starting phase anymore. The guys have settled down. As Connor Havoc currently coming into the pit, seems to be having a little bit of an issue. Oh! He's causing yellow flags. Apparently he's caused the safety car. That is very interesting. Alright, is it caused by, or is it Jesse who lost his front wing? Alright, yeah, apparently it's Jesse. My apologies. Connor, I thought you caused the safety car because you smashed into the braking boards there, and a safety car was deployed, but apparently it was Jesse. He crashed out. He's coming back into the pit lane. And this is actually a good strategy from Connor. Everyone is going to be slowed down. He's going to have to... Oh, that might be an issue for Connor. Does he have to wait behind the safety car? Ah, I'm afraid he has to, no? Is he going to tell him? I think it is. Let's have a quick look. Will he have to wait? Oh, no, he's past the safety car. All right, that's good news. Because that means he will now possibly be at the front of the field. J5 Gaming coming into the pit lane. And... Ooh, difficult. Nah, it's going to be the same. Depends on the first driver who's caught up to the safety car. Yeah, no, everyone is just going to hop into the pit lane, and he's not going to gain a single position, if I'm not mistaken. From my knowledge, the safety car only speeds up, and everyone else can speed up whenever one driver has caught up to the safety car. Since everyone is coming into the pit lane, Connor Havoc will just have to keep up with the delta. Now, it seems like everyone is coming into the pit lane. Yes, now with a 3-second time penalty. Let's have a quick look with J5 Gaming here. Just come out of the pit lane onto the hard tires. And this is a good strategy from plenty of the guys here out on track. I'm not sure whether they're going for a one-stopper though. This seems possible. Everyone stayed on those medium tires for a long time. This seems possible for a lot of guys. 17 laps on the hard tires. 3 laps of those behind the safety car. This is possible. I think it's... it depends on who feels comfortable on those hard tires at the end of the race. This is looking great. Apparently Ralph went onto the medium tire, so he's going to go for a 2-stopper for sure. Possibly medium hard. And then I would assume that J5 Gaming goes for a medium hard, medium strategy. But then I'm wondering, 8 laps, 16, that would be 9 laps? No, 11 laps on... Well, that's possible. 11, 12 laps on the hard tires. Yeah, that's doable. It's just going to be a guess now who's going to go for which strategy. You don't know for sure. But almost everyone went for different tires. It's only Connor Havoc who jumped NLD Rush, if I'm not mistaken. That's the only driver who's passed. Hummer in P6. Everyone else is on 0 lap old tires, except for Tom, Putty, and Skipper. Both of them came to the pits 1 lap earlier as well. So they're actually not going to be having the advantage at the moment. Oh wait, no, Connor spun, didn't he? Wasn't he somewhere around Tom Putty? No, that might be a mistake. I didn't say a thing there. One more lap behind the safety car. Strategy-wise, we are looking at medium hard, medium hard, maybe. I personally think a medium hard is possible. And I highly doubt that the other guys, for example, Raf, will be able to gain 20 seconds, 22 seconds with his strategy. Or maybe he's going for a medium soft, but the softs are dog shit around the F125 game. So I highly doubt that, but yeah, strategy-wise, I'm not really sensing a lot of sense there from Ralph, but yeah, who am I to talk? You know, these guys have a lot more experience than I do in the racing field, so they're gonna know very well what they're gonna be doing with their strategies. Possibly one more lap behind the safety car, and then we're gonna be good to go for the remainder of the race. About 17 more laps to go around Suzuka. And don't you guys agree that this track is a lot of fun to be racing on, but also to be commentating on, because there's always something happening, whether it's in sector 1 through the S's, in sector 2 through turn 10, in sector 3 through the chicane. You've always got a sector where something is happening. And that is what I really appreciate about Suzuka. Like, something is always happening. And you're not necessarily going to be seeing everyone in a field of their own. You know, there's always going to be someone within the DRS of the other driver, because it's not very easy to get away from a driver either. We saw J5 Gaming with, well, a decent gap to the guys behind him, but he's got a lot of pace as well. You need to be realistic here. He's gonna start this safety car restart as well. He's gonna go very, very late as he's crossing the line right now. He's sped up, but Raf is about 5/10 behind. On those medium tires, he should be able to gain a position here, especially through sector 1. He's gonna be a little bit faster, so he just needs to stick within that DRS and make the overtake heading into heading into lap 12. NLD Rush on the tail of Connor Havoc now, as well as Hummer on the tail of NLD Rush. Very exciting battle between those guys out on track. But yeah, once again, you know, you could say something is happening the whole time, but then on the other hand, there is something happening, but not necessarily something exciting, is there? Oh, NLD Rush with a lockup. Here comes Hummer down the inside as he benefits from the mistake of the Dutch driver. And that's a little bit unfortunate for NLD Rush. Really had a great qualifying, but he's falling back at the moment, and that's not a good sign for the Dutch driver. Just needs to keep his hopes up and try to get back into that top 5 position. Maybe if Hummer attacks Connor Havoc, the both of them losing a bit of time while battling. Ralph, who's sticking within the DRS of a J5 Gaming. So this might be an opportunity for the Red Bull driver. DRS wide open now for Ralph, or is it not enabled yet? It's going to be enabled right now. Oh, it's already enabled, isn't it? No, it'll be next lap. Here he goes around the outside. Already has found his way around J5 Gaming, but has to yield. Especially with J5 Gaming on the inside. It's always a dangerous position to be on the outside line because you can easily get pushed wider. That's definitely not something you want in turn 1 and turn 2. So you're going to be caught out into the curb and you're going to lose so much time. So definitely not recommended for Ralph there. So it was very smart backing out as we're already heading into sector 2. Ralph on those medium tires has found a lot of pace, if I'm being honest. You can see he caught up to J5 Gaming. He manages to stay within that DRS, within that 1 second. And, you know, it's a little bit of a struggle heading into Sector 2 and Sector 3 with that much dirty air. But then on the other hand, when you're able to stick within that 1 second, you're going to have so many benefits in Sector 1. Down the start-finish straight, you're going to go for that overtake. And apparently, Raf is already going for it right now. Down the inside he goes. J5 Gaming couldn't defend from the Dutch driver. And what a great way to make an overtake from the Red Bull driver. There's a yellow flag. I assume that the game is a little bit glitched here. Because the guys have not got their DRS enabled yet. No, they do. Here comes J5 Gaming. Ralph defending the inside line. They're going to go side by side. And it's J5 Gaming who makes it out ahead. Beautiful move there from the V-Carb driver as Connor Havoc not too far behind the two race leaders, as he does have a heated battle with brother Adam and Hummer who still got that Dutch driver right behind him. As I'm not sure why it's saying caution sector 2 yellow flag, but yeah, the game is a very strange algorithm here. But it is what it is. And now the rush still holding on tight, but it's just going to be such a difficult task to get past Hummer, especially with that much pace and with the mistakes he's making at the moment. It's not looking great for NLD Rush. He's even letting Baza get a little bit closer. Let's go back on board with Raf here. Still sticking within the DRS, but didn't manage to benefit from the pace he had coming out of turn 14 last lap. Tom Putty made a move on composite as well. Let's go on board with Tom Putty right now. As Pombear also on the tail of Raikkonen. Here he goes. And we've got a new race leader. It's Ralph making the overtake on J5 Gaming. Pombear who managed to get past Raikkonen as well. A lot of moves made here. Connor got past brother Adam as well. And I'm pretty sure Connor is now going to try and get this little group of drivers back to his teammate. Because J5 Gaming is in a lot of trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. Well, not necessarily, because obviously he doesn't necessarily have to come into the pits anymore. Raf does. Oh, somebody went wide. Brother Adam lost the car. Into the gravel he goes. And that's going to be plenty of positions lost from the McLaren driver. The only one who didn't get past was Jesse. Composite and Skipper doing a great job keeping their cars on track, but it's not going to gain them too many positions here, or at least points. Tom Putty MP9 making mistakes. It's not looking like his day today. He had a way better race last week, but this week it's looking like working for the Alpine driver. Remember now, MP4, he's going to be scoring a decent amount of points. This is already 12 points in the actual F1 point system, so that would be 24 in total. Ralph with the fastest lap. And J5 Gaming is going to go for a move. And this is what I said before. When you're on the inside line, you can easily force the other driver a little bit wider. And that is exactly what Ralph did there. Some good racing between these two. No real contact was made. And that is what I love about Delta T Racing. Not a lot of guys crash into each other, have dirty battles or anything. And that's what racing makes fun to watch. Twelve more laps to go, with Raph currently leading the race, but he still has to come into the pits. Wonder when he's actually going to come into the pits. Possibly in about 2 laps, because that's where he came into the pits with those previous medium tires. NLD Rush, is he going to go for a move? No, but he's within 1 second off Connor Havoc, so this might be an opportunity for NLD Rush down the DRS straight. Into the slipstream he goes. Oh, nice line coming through the exit. Oh, look at that line from Connor. Already made a gap of about 8 tenths right now. He's gonna keep the position. And it looked like an awkward line for NLD Rush there through the chicane as well. Tom Putty on the within the DRS, but it's not going to be enough. J5 Gaming, even with it with that DRS, and didn't gain a single position or even time. He didn't necessarily gain that much time. Raf is able to pull away, although those hard tires should be getting a little bit faster. It's looking like a struggle here for J5 Gaming on the hard tires around Suzuka. At this point during their stints, the hard tires should be a little bit faster, but it's not looking like it at all. NLD Rush on the tail of Connor Havoc at the moment, and the both of them have been scrambling for a couple of laps now already, and the amount of tire wear on NLD Rush's tires is not looking great. Had a little snap there coming out of turn 14. Is he under attack from behind from Baza? Seems like it. Maybe he... no, it's not going to be something he has to worry about, but I was about to say, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Baza with a move on the inside. Oh, and he spins out NLD Rush. Oh, what a bad... Well, a bad move. Yeah, a bad move. Baza, who just threw it down the inside, spun out NLD Rush, and there goes the good qualifying, the good efforts within that qualifying session of NLD Rush. All gone to waste. And the big battle we can be looking at right now is between J5 Gaming and Rav, because apparently Rav got overtaken again. That's the power of the hard tires at the end of their stints. He should be going for another 4 laps on those hard tires to then switch on to the medium tires. Well, 4 laps might be a little bit too much. Depends on what Ralph is going to do. Brother Adam on the medium tires. Fastest lap so far, 131.5. And that's even faster than some of the guys' qualifying laps. So good pace from Brother Adam at the bottom of the field. He's coming to the pits for his second stint, I would assume. Well, third stint. Second pit stop. Here comes Raf. He's not going to be close enough at all. He needs to stick within the DRS, but I wouldn't come into the pits whenever you have the DRS and when you're that close to the guy ahead of you. I wouldn't come into the pits, but then on the other hand, he's going to have the undercut possibility when he goes onto the hard tires. Yes, with another 3-second time penalty. He's the only one with a penalty so far. Here comes Raf. Is he going to force him wide? Yes, indeed. And J5 Gaming knew exactly what he was going to do. A yellow flag in Sector 5. Pombeer? Is that Pombeer? No, it's the other driver, NLD Rush, who's got a broken front wing. It'll be race over for NLD Rush as he's eager, too eager actually, into turn 1 and 2, and he's gonna have to come back into the pit lane, and that will be either race over or just try to make a comeback race work, I guess. J5 Gaming got overtaken again by Ralph. And it's going to be a back and forward battle, but Ralph knows he still has to come into the pits though. Hummer on the tail of, well, not necessarily on the tail. He's in the middle of nowhere, basically. Connor with 3 seconds behind him. He's got J5 Gaming 3 seconds ahead of him. If J5 Gaming and Ralph are going to keep battling like this, we might be seeing Hummer come a little bit closer. He still has to come into the pits though. I don't think you can do another 9 laps on those medium tires though. It's not looking great here around Suzuka. I don't know what the tire wear is looking like for these guys either. I raced around Brazil before. I barely could make a medium hard strategy work. And on the Rush coming into the pits most likely. As he just got overtaken by Jesse. Raikkonen with a 3-second time penalty. As Ralph is going for another lap. This is definitely signs of going onto the soft tires at the end of the race. He's hoping for a late safety car, I think. And it would work into his advantage, but then on the other hand, he's going to lose time right now. So, alright, it's not looking great for Ralph. He's not in a favorable position. Let's go back on board with Raikkonen and Composite here. Also, Tom Petty trying to find his way into the top 8. Let's look at the penalties as well. You know, you've got 3 seconds for Raikkonen, 12 seconds for Jesse. As Tom Petty is going to throw it down the inside. Oh, very difficult place to do it in. But luckily, Composite knew what was coming. And he left a lot of space for Tom Petty to actually make that overtake work. Composite can just benefit from the DRS, the ERS, the slipstream, and everything else. While Tom Petty is going to bring him a little bit closer, pull him a little bit closer to Raikkonen and Baza. Because both of them are having a battle as well. And as I said before, J5 Gaming and Raf, with the amount of battling that's going on, Hummer has caught up to about 2 seconds off Raf right now. So if I'm not mistaken, Red Bull is going to score more points than VCarb tonight. Basically because Hummer is the only one using their Joker. Which was a very smart thing to do from Hummer. Just wait to see how many people are going to attend the race. Put in your Joker if you feel like there's not going to be too many. And that's going to be case closed. So good strategy there. Pombeer coming into the pits. That's going to be his second strategy. Well, second strategy. Second pit stop. That's going to be the case indeed. A lot of guys gained a lot of time. Not sure what happened to brother Adam. I think he made a mistake coming into turn 8 and 9. So he dropped all the way to P12, lost 10 positions, had a good qualifying, but unfortunately didn't have a great race. Raf caught up back within 1 second of J5 Gaming. There's not much happening at the moment, if I'm being honest, tire-wise. We're looking at soft tires for Bombeer and NLD Rush at the bottom of the field. With about 7 more laps to go. It's gonna be difficult. I don't know if I like the soft tires that much. And I want to have a quick look with the attendance, because I feel like everyone has to use 3 sets of... No, apparently not. But there is a race, or at least it was last season, where everyone had to use all different tire compounds. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Raf coming into the pits, he's going onto the soft tires. J5 Gaming is just going to go for a 2-stopper. And in my opinion, that will be the better strategy. Raf is not going to gain 20 seconds on J5 Gaming. I can tell you that. Especially with the amount of traffic he is experiencing ahead of him. You know, you've got Skipper, you've got Composite, you've got Tom Petty, Raikkonen, Baza, Connor, Hummer, all of those guys ahead of him. And I think Hummer might wanted to come to the pits as well, but he saw his teammate about 1.5 to checking in what's going on. Not much, actually. J5 Gaming possibly winning the Drivers' Championship. Well, not, what am I saying? The race. With a one-stopper. A lot of guys have tried to go for a two-stopper. Raf was about 1 second behind J5 Gaming. He came into the pits to go onto the soft tires, but he's got a lot of traffic ahead of him. Brother Adam crashed out. He's currently in P12, so not great. NLD Rush crashed out as well. He lost his front wing, so he had to come into the pits. Anything else happened? Bad qualifying from Tom Putty. Hummer with a great race, coming all the way from P13 to P2 right now, so he's gained about 11 positions. And that should be about it. 2 drivers having a penalty. Yeah, that is about it. As Hummer is now coming into the pits, going on to the soft tires as well. With about, 5 more laps to go. It's not looking great for the guys in the Red Bull. They might lost them some big points here with their 2-stop strategy. But you know, you win some, you lose some. Every now and then your strategy works, but on the other hand, you know, in another race it might not work. And that is the risks of an F1 driver as well. Raf would now made up 2 positions as well, because Hummer and Composite both came into the pits. Composite who drops back behind Bombeer. As Bomber is already on those 2-level soft tires. So it's not going to be easy for Bomber to finish the race either. You know, 5 more laps to go. He's going to be struggling, guys. He's going to be struggling. Let's go on board with Raikkonen, who's catching up to Baza. Baza with a very good race, although he's possibly going to get a penalty for that incident with... Who was it again? Was it, it was Raikkonen, wasn't it? Or was it Tom Putty? Might have been Tom Putty. I don't know. But 5 positions gained for Baza. Qualified in P8, currently in P3. Raikkonen qualified in P10, currently P4. He does have that penalty, so he's going to draw back to P5. Tom Putty with a very consistent race himself as well. He's going to gain 1 position due to that 3-second time penalty of Raikkonen. As we're heading into lap 23 out of the 27. Still plenty of time for Raikkonen to get past F1 Baza. But better now than late, because, yeah. The saying is usually, oh, Hummer with a 3-second time penalty, that's his race win gone. Well, at least if he catches up to J5 Gaming, but I highly doubt it. If we look at the gap to the leader, Raf is only 19 seconds. Well, it's still 19 seconds behind. He was 21, 22 seconds behind before. Yeah, I felt it coming when he went on to the second medium stint. I knew that it wasn't going to work. He's at 18 seconds right now. With about 5 more laps to go, he needs to gain more than 3.5 seconds per lap. He's got a lot of traffic ahead of him. It's never going to happen. Fastest lap still goes to Brother Adam. He's one of the only ones with the 131, together with Pombeer and Raf. Both of them are on the soft tires as well. Raikkonen is the only one within 1 second of the guy ahead of him, and that is Baza in this case. But then on the other hand, when you're actually making the overtake, you're eventually going to give up the position anyway due to your 3-second time penalty. So maybe it's not the best idea for Raikkonen to battle too much with Baza. Only if you know that you can gain 3 seconds in 4 laps. But here he's going to go 3... DRS is what I was meant to say. A 130.5 from Hummer. Jesus! That's a 1 second gain on Brother Adam's time. And that's an insane lap. That's an insane lap. That's a good lap from Hummer there. That's faster than most guys did their quali times here around Suzuka. And I'll do Rush with an overtake on Jesse. Raikkonen is gaining on his own time as well, so definitely has the pace. I'm just wondering whether it would be smart. Look at that, Raf gaining time on Tom Putty. Is he going to throw it down the inside here in turn 10 already? It doesn't look like it. Has to wait for the straight in sector 3. If he can get a good exit out of turn 15, 14, he might be able to gain that position already, but then he's not going to have the DRS, might get overtaken again. It's just a little bit of a struggle here for Raf. And he doesn't have a great exit either with the amount of dirty air that's going on. There's a lot of DRS left. Is he going to go for the move? Yes, he is. Down the inside he goes. This is never going to work. No, I knew it. This is never going to work. He clipped the rear of the Alpine driver. Goes a little bit too deep into the chicane. He wasn't necessarily alongside the Alpine driver either. And the only thing Tom has to do right now is defend the inside line. He's not going to. He's not going to. Here comes Raf down the inside. Oh, and Hummer is going for a move as well. Hummer with Tom Putty. Tom Putty getting pushed wider. And the Red Bulls found their way past the Alpine. Skipper, no, it's not Skipper, it's Jesse who crashed out. But still, I admire the courage. Well, not necessarily courage. The persistency. Is that a word? I feel like it is a word. Persistency. I'm gonna Google that, and I'll let you guys know next week. Persistence. It's like whenever you keep on doing something even though you're not doing a great job. Does that make sense? Persistence. Wait, I'm gonna look that up on Google right now. I need to know, guys. My apologies. Persistence. Yeah. Yeah, it is a word. Jeez. I don't even need a dictionary or anything. I'm Mr. Dictionary myself. Even though I'm not an English native speaker, but you can. My second name is Dictionary, you know. Here comes Hummer. I really wonder when the Red Bulls are going to be battling with each other. Yeah. We're heading into the penultimate lap already. There is no way they're going to catch up. They even lost a lot of time with their strategy. Here comes Hummer with a move down the inside. This is a good idea from Red Bull as well. The amount of points that Hummer scores is going to be double points. So it's smarter to have Hummer finish in front of Raf, and even has a little more pace as well. So they might be able to get past Raikkonen there. And Raf is even going to gain that position anyway due to a 3-second time penalty. So the question now will be, will Raf try to stick without, outside that 3-second time penalty of Hummer so that Hummer can actually score P5? Or because on the other hand, if Raf catches up, he's going to get past Raikkonen and Hummer at the same time. It's going to be a three-way battle into the penultimate lap. Well, actually, the last lap of the race, because we're currently in lap 26. We're heading into lap 27. Anyone can still be on the podium. Well, not necessarily. Raikkonen and Hummer both have a penalty, so the question will be whether Raf is going to get past Hummer and Raikkonen to get past Baza. It's going to be chaotic into turn 1. I can tell you that. Everyone is having DRS except for Baza. Oh, Raikkonen. Oh, with an aggressive move down the inside in the chicane. DRS wide open now. He's going to take the tighter line coming through the last corner of the track. DRS wide open. Raikkonen is not going to go for a move, or is he? No, he's not. Oh, the Red Bull almost going into the back of Raikkonen. Has to watch out. Raikkonen taking a very tight line there. And I'm afraid this will be the finishing position. Depends on how much ERS everyone has left in their tank. Raikkonen about 30. Hummer has got about 50. We've got Raf with about 30. And Baza has... Ooh, he has plenty left in the tank. He can drain all of that down the last straight heading into Sector 3. Yeah, it's looking great for Baza. He's going to be on the podium. What a race from the Williams. Although that can still be changed because we saw that he had a little incident with somebody else. If I'm not mistaken, it was even Raikkonen. So Raf could actually still be on the podium here. This could be great for the Red Bull team. Oh, Hummer down the inside. What a move from Hummer. Ho, 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 look at that. What a way to finish into the top 5 anyway. And Raikkonen is going to be pushed back to P6 now, provisionally, because we've got that penalty hanging above Baza's head. We didn't take a look at J5's race win, but congratulations to you, J5. You did great, fantastic, with a good strategy around Japan. Hummer now finishing in P5. It's Rav who finishes in P4, and Baza with a provisional P3. The guys here at the back of the field not necessarily gaining many positions. It's brother Adam who finishes in P11 outside the points of the actual F1 point structure. I'll just have to take a look at the actual point structure of DTR here. Rules and regulations. It's a PDF. Racing rules, setup, racing types. There's nothing about points here. Let me just double check. Ah, here we've got the points. All right. Points scored. Standard F1 points scored finishing top 10. Okay, we're using the actual F1 points, so that's great. Let me then calculate the amount of points that that Hummer has scored. He scored a total of 20 points, so that's great for Red Bull. I think there was a little bit more in the tank there for the Red Bull team, but yeah, their strategy kind of messed up their race, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Let's look at the results of the race here in Suzuka, and then I'm going to wish you a very good evening. Here we've got the results of the race. Race winner will be J5 Gaming. Congratulations. Fastest lap goes to Hummer. Driver of the day also goes to Hummer, and most overtakes also done by Hummer. The cleanest driver is J5 Gaming, obviously because he didn't have too many battles with the other drivers except for Raf. Results wise, we've got J5 Gaming in P1, Connor Havoc in P2, and Baza in P3. Further, we've got Raf, Hummer with the fastest lap as well, the only driver to bid a 130 on the board. Raikkonen in P6, Tom Putty in that Alpine car in P7, Bombear in P8, Skipper in P9, and Composite in P10. Further, we've got Brother Adam, NLD Rush, and Jesse Velikoop at the bottom of that pack. That will be your Japan Grand Prix. I would like to thank you guys very much for watching the Grand Prix here together with me, alongside with your commentator, VB Thomas. I'll catch you guys probably next week. I'll let you guys know. And all I can say for tonight is thank you very much, and I'll see you guys another time. Peace out. Bye-bye.